They say black boys become men at 18. I became one at 18 when I caught my father's fist mid-swing, inches from my mother's face. The sound of his wrist cracking against my grip was nothing compared to the silence that followed. For the first time in my life, Robert Williams looked afraid of his own son. My name is Deshaun Williams. I just turned 18 3 weeks ago, and where I come from, becoming a man means taking care of your family. What I did not know was that sometimes taking care of them means standing up to them. Sometimes it means becoming the monster that scares away the other monsters. Sometimes it means choosing between being a good son to your father or a good son to your mother. You cannot always be both. Growing up on the east side of Cleveland, you learn that some things are better left unspoken. Family business stays family business. What happens in the house stays in the house. But when your mother runs out of makeup to cover the bruises, when your little sister stops inviting friends over, when your grandmother stops asking why mama wears sunglasses to church, the silence becomes its own kind of violence. I was supposed to be at Cuyahoga Community College right now, sitting in my introduction to business class, taking notes about supply and demand. Instead, I was standing in my childhood kitchen, my hand wrapped around my father's wrist, feeling his pulse race against my palm. Mama was behind me, gasping, begging me to let go. But I had already let go too many times. I had been letting go for 18 years. The morning had started like any other Thursday. I woke up at 5:30 to get ready for my warehouse job at Amazon. 4 hours before class, 4 hours of loading trucks to pay for textbooks and help Mama with groceries. She never asked for the money, but I always left it in the sugar jar on top of the refrigerator where Daddy would not think to look. Mama was already up, making breakfast in her pink bathrobe, the one with the cigarette burn on the sleeve from when Daddy fell asleep smoking on the couch. She was humming that gospel song she loves, "His Eye is on the Sparrow," while scrambling eggs in the cast-iron skillet her mother gave her. "Morning, baby," she said without turning around. She never turned around anymore, not when she had fresh bruises. "Morning, Mama. You need anything from the store?" "No, baby. I am good." But she was not good. I could see it in the way she held her left arm close to her body, the way she favored her right foot when she walked. 3 days ago, Daddy came home drunk from his cousin's house, angry about losing money in a dice game. Mama had asked him where the electric bill money went. That was all it took. I poured myself orange juice, the pulpy kind Mama insisted on buying even though everybody else hated it. "You working at the hospital tonight?" "Double shift," she said. Somebody called out sick. Mama worked as a certified nursing assistant at Cleveland Clinic, cleaning up after people who looked through her like she was invisible. 16-hour shifts just to keep the lights on while Daddy drank away his unemployment checks. She deserved better. We all did. "Deshaun, baby, can you check on your sister before you leave? Make sure she is up for school." Destiny was 14, a freshman at John Hay High School, smart enough to get into the early college program, but too scared to stay after school for extracurriculars. She said it was because she did not like the other kids, but I knew better. She did not want to leave Mama alone with Daddy any longer than necessary. I knocked on Destiny's door. "Des, you up?" "Yeah. You need a ride to school?" "I will take the bus." "You sure?" The door opened a crack. My sister's face appeared, her hair wrapped in a silk bonnet Grandma gave her. "Is he up yet?" "No." "Then I will take the bus. I do not want to wake him." That was our life, tiptoeing around a man who stomped through our peace whenever he pleased, making ourselves small so his rage had less to hit. But something was different that morning. Maybe it was turning 18. Maybe it was getting my first real paycheck. Maybe it was the acceptance letter from Cleveland State University hidden in my backpack, the one that would let me study business while staying close enough to protect my family. Whatever it was, I was tired of being small. I went to work like normal, loaded trucks until my back ached and my hands went numb. My supervisor, Mr. Jackson, was a good man who knew why I worked so hard. "You all right, young blood?" he asked during break. "Yes, sir." "Your mama all right?" Mr. Jackson lived 3 blocks over. He had seen Mama at the grocery store last week, sunglasses at 9 o'clock at night. She will be, I said. You let me know if you need anything. Yes, sir. But what could he do? What could anyone do? Call the police? Mama would never press charges. She would say she fell, say she ran into a door, say anything except the truth. The police would leave, and Daddy would make her pay for the embarrassment. I had watched this cycle too many times. Class was a blur. Professor Martinez talked about market equilibrium while I thought about the imbalance in my own home. How much supply of violence could we absorb before demand for peace exceeded our capacity to endure? There had to be a breaking point. Every system had one. My phone buzzed during lecture. A text from Destiny. Come home. Now. My heart dropped. I grabbed my backpack and left without explanation, running to my car, a beat-up Honda Civic that Uncle Jerome sold me for $500. The drive home usually took 20 minutes. I made it in 12. I could hear the screaming from the street. Not just Daddy this time, but Mama too, and underneath it, Destiny crying. The front door was locked. I fumbled with my keys, hands shaking, finally got it open. The living room was destroyed. The coffee table was flipped over. Mama's collection of ceramic angels scattered across the floor, most of them broken. The television was sideways, a spider web crack across the screen. And in the middle of it all, Daddy had Mama pressed against the wall, his hand around her throat. Destiny was in the corner, recording with her phone, tears streaming down her face. Daddy, stop! I shouted. He turned to look at me, his eyes bloodshot, the smell of whiskey radiating off him like cologne. Boy, you better get out of here before you get some of this too. Let her go. What'd you say to me? I said let her go. He released Mama, who slumped to the floor gasping, and took a step toward me. Robert Williams was 6'2", 240 pounds of muscle gone soft, but not weak. I was 6 feet exactly, 170 pounds of warehouse muscle and teenage rage. On paper, he should have destroyed me. But paper does not account for 18 years of suppressed fury. You think you a man now? He asked. You think because you got a little job, you can come in my house and tell me what to do? This is not your house, I said. Mama's name is on the lease. Mama pays the rent. You just live here. The first punch came fast, but I had been watching him fight shadows for years. I ducked, and his fist went through the drywall where my head had been. While he struggled to free his hand, I grabbed the lamp from the side table, the one Grandma brought back from her trip to Atlantic City. You gonna hit me, boy? He laughed, finally freeing his hand. You gonna hit your father? You are not my father, I said. A father does not do this. A father protects his family. You are just a man who lives in our house. That set him off. He charged at me, but years of loading trucks had taught me about leverage and balance. I sidestepped, and he crashed into the entertainment center. DVDs went everywhere. Mama's gospel collection, Destiny's Disney movies from when she was little, all scattered across the floor. Stop it. Both of you stop it. Mama screamed, but neither of us was listening anymore. He came at me again, this time catching me in the ribs. Pain exploded through my side, but I stayed on my feet. I swung the lamp, catching him across the shoulder. It shattered, ceramic pieces flying everywhere. Deshaun, no. Mama tried to get between us, but Destiny pulled her back. Let him handle it, Mama, my sister said. It is time somebody did. Daddy and I circled each other in the ruins of our living room. 18 years led to this moment. Every black eye Mama explained away. Every time Destiny hid in her closet. Every time I pretended to be asleep while furniture broke and Mama cried. It all came down to this. You know what your problem is? I said, you are weak. You hit women and children because you are too scared to fight a real man. Well, I am a real man now, and I am not scared of you anymore. He rushed me again, but this time I was ready. I grabbed his wrist as he swung, using his momentum to throw him off balance. We crashed into the wall, family photos falling and shattering around us. A picture of my 5th birthday party. Destiny's kindergarten graduation. Mama and Daddy's wedding photo, back when he was different, back when she smiled without fear. We fought like our lives depended on it, because maybe they did. Every punch I threw carried 18 years of weight. Every block was for every time Mama said she was clumsy. We destroyed what was left of the living room, 2 generations of pain colliding in a space too small to hold it all. I do not know how long we fought. Time works differently when you are fighting for your family's freedom. But eventually I got lucky. Or maybe it was not luck. Maybe it was just that I had more to fight for. He stumbled over the overturned coffee table, and I tackled him, pinning him to the ground. My fist was raised, ready to bring it down on his face, ready to give him every bruise he had ever given Mama. "Do it," he spat blood. "Show them what kind of man you are. Show them you are just like me." I froze. Just like him. Those 3 words cut deeper than any punch. Was that what I was becoming? Was violence the only language our family knew how to speak? "Deshaun," Mama's voice was soft, careful. "Baby, let him go." "Why?" I did not look at her. I could not. Why should I let him go? Did he let you go all those times? Did he let you go when you begged? "Because you are not him," she said. "You are my son, and you are not him." I looked down at my father, pinned beneath me, blood running from his nose. He looked smaller than I had ever seen him. Not physically, but in every way that mattered. This man who had terrorized us for years was just a broken person who broke others to feel whole. I stood up slowly, my whole body aching. "Get out." "What?" He struggled to his feet. "Get out of our house. Pack your things and get out. You cannot kick me out. I live here." "Not anymore." I pulled out my phone. "I am calling the police. Destiny has video of you choking Mama. You can leave now, or you can leave in handcuffs. Your choice." "Linda, tell your son. His name is Deshaun," Mama said, standing straighter than I had seen in years. "And he is right. You need to leave, Robert. You are really going to choose him over me? Your son over your husband. Every single time," she said. The silence that followed was different from all the silences before. This was not the silence of fear or submission. This was the silence of decision, of change, of a family finally choosing itself over its dysfunction. Daddy looked at all 3 of us, maybe really seeing us for the first time. His wife, strong despite the bruises. His daughter, brave enough to document the truth. His son, no longer a boy he could intimidate. "This is not over," he said. "Yes, it is," I replied. "It has been over for a long time. We just finally said it out loud." He left that night with 2 garbage bags of clothes and the remains of his pride. I stood on the porch and watched him load his cousin's car, making sure he actually left. The neighbors were watching too, pretending to water plants or check mail. The whole neighborhood knew what had been happening in our house. Now they knew it was over. Mr. Johnson from next door walked over. "You all right, young man?" "Yes, sir." "Your Mama." "She will be." He nodded, understanding in his eyes. "You did what needed doing. Sometimes a man has to stand up." "Yes, sir." "You need help cleaning up?" "No, sir. We got it." But we did not have it, not really. The living room was destroyed. Mama had a bruised throat, and who knows what else. Destiny was traumatized from recording it all. And I had just fought my father, crossing a line you cannot uncross. We spent the rest of the night cleaning in silence, picking up broken angels and shattered picture frames. Mama made ice packs for my ribs and face. Destiny swept up glass. We moved through the house like survivors of a natural disaster, which in a way, we were. Around midnight, after Destiny went to bed and Mama called out from her hospital shift, we sat at the kitchen table with cups of tea neither of us was drinking. "I am sorry," Mama said. "For what?" "For letting it go on so long. For making you grow up in that." "Mama." "No, let me say this. I failed you and your sister. I kept thinking he would change, thinking if I loved him harder, if I was a better wife, if I prayed more. But some people do not want to be saved, Deshaun. They want to drag everyone down with them. Why did you stay?" She was quiet for a long moment. "Fear, I guess. Fear of being alone. Fear of not making it financially. Fear that he would get partial custody of you kids and hurt you when I was not there to take the hits instead. But mostly, I think I stayed because I forgot I deserved better. When someone tells you that you are worthless long enough, you start to believe it. You are not worthless, Mama. I know that now. Seeing you stand up to him, seeing Destiny brave enough to record it, it reminded me that we are worth fighting for. If you are listening to this, you might be wondering what happened next. Did Daddy come back? Did we press charges? Did our family heal? The truth is, recovery is not a straight line. It is not a movie where everything gets fixed after one big confrontation. Daddy did come back, 2 weeks later, drunk and demanding to be let in. But this time we were ready. We had changed the locks, installed security cameras, and filed a restraining order. When he started pounding on the door at 2 in the morning, I did not fight him. I called the police and let them handle it. He spent 30 days in county jail for violating the order. Mama started going to therapy at the community center, joining a support group for domestic violence survivors. She discovered she was not alone, that there were other women with similar stories, similar scars, similar strength. She learned that leaving is not weakness, it is survival. Destiny stopped hiding in her room. She joined the drama club at school, started staying for rehearsals, even got the lead in the spring play. She was playing someone brave. She said, "Good practice for real life." Her grades went up. Her smile came back. She stopped flinching when doors slammed. And me? I kept working at the warehouse, kept going to community college. But now I was studying to become a social worker instead of business. Turns out, fighting for my family showed me what I really wanted to fight for. I wanted to help other families trapped in cycles of violence, to be the person who shows up when a kid calls for help. Mr. Jackson at work connected me with his cousin, who ran a nonprofit for at-risk youth. I started volunteering on weekends, talking to teenage boys about healthy masculinity, about how strength is not about who you can hurt, but who you can help. Some of them looked at me like I was crazy. Others listened like their lives depended on it. Maybe they did. Family members took sides, of course. Daddy's brothers said I was disrespectful, that I had no right to put my hands on my father. Some of Mama's sisters said she should have tried harder to make it work, that divorce was a sin. The church was split. Pastor Williams, no relation despite the shared last name, preached about honoring thy father, while Sister Margaret pulled Mama aside to give her the number for a Christian women's shelter. But Grandma, Mama's mother, she just held me tight when she heard what happened. "About time somebody stood up to that man," she whispered. "I have been praying for God to send an angel of protection. Did not know he would send my grandbaby." The extended family drama came to a head at Thanksgiving. We had it at Grandma's house, like always, but half the family did not show up. They chose sides without saying it out loud. Empty chairs at the dinner table spoke louder than any argument could. Uncle Jerome, Daddy's brother, showed up uninvited halfway through dinner. "You all really gonna act like Robert does not exist?" he demanded. "He exists," Grandma said calmly, not even looking up from her sweet potato pie. "He just does not exist in this family anymore. Now you can sit down and eat in peace, or you can leave in peace. But there will be peace in my house." Uncle Jerome left. But Cousin Marcus stayed, pulled me aside later to say his own daddy used to hit his mama, and he wished he had been brave enough to do what I did. We were not alone in our dysfunction. Half the neighborhood had similar stories, similar secrets, similar silence. 3 months after that night, I got a call from county lockup. Daddy had been arrested again, this time for hitting his new girlfriend. She was pressing charges. The detective wanted to know if we would testify about our experiences, establish a pattern of behavior. Mama was scared. Testifying meant making it official, public, permanent. But Destiny, brave Destiny, said we had to. "If we do not," she said, "he will just keep hurting people." So we testified. I sat in that courtroom and told strangers about 18 years of violence. Mama described the hospital visits she explained away. Destiny played the video she recorded that night. The jury did not deliberate long. Daddy got 5 years, eligible for parole and 3 with good behavior and anger management classes. He wrote me a letter from prison 6 months later. I still have it, though I have only read it once. He said he was sorry, that prison gave him time to think, that he wanted to be better. He said his own daddy beat him worse, that he thought he was doing better by comparison. He said violence was all he knew how to speak. I never wrote back. Maybe that makes me cold. Maybe forgiveness would be healing. But some wounds need distance to heal properly. Some relationships are too broken to fix. Sometimes the best thing you can do for someone is to stop enabling their worst self. Life got better slowly. Mama started dating Mr. Thompson from her church, a widower who brought her flowers and never raised his voice. Destiny got into a performing arts high school, full scholarship. I transferred to Cleveland State full-time, majoring in social work with a minor in psychology. But trauma does not just disappear because the traumatizer does. Mama still flinches at sudden movements. Destiny still records arguments on her phone, just in case. I still check the locks 3 times before bed, still keep a baseball bat by my door, still wake up sometimes ready to fight. Healing is not a destination, it is a journey. We are still on that journey, all 3 of us, taking it one day at a time. Thank you for letting me share our story. If you are in a situation like ours, if you are that kid watching your mama suffer, if you are that woman thinking you cannot leave, if you are that person who knows something is wrong but does not know what to do, let me tell you something. You are stronger than you know. Your voice matters. Your safety matters. You matter. It is not easy to break the silence. It is not safe to stand up to violence. But sometimes, the risk of speaking up is less dangerous than the certainty of staying quiet. Sometimes, becoming the person your family needs means becoming someone your abuser never expected you to be. I was 18 years old when I caught my father's fist. But I had been catching his blows my whole life, absorbing them into my body, my mind, my spirit. That night, I decided to stop catching and start throwing them back. Not with violence, but with truth. With boundaries. With the word no said loud enough for the whole neighborhood to hear. You might be wondering if I regret it, if I wish I had handled it differently. The truth is, I regret that it took 18 years. I regret every black eye I pretended not to see, every cry for help I pretended not to hear, every night I let fear keep me silent. But I do not regret standing up. I do not regret choosing my mother's safety over my father's comfort. I do not regret becoming the man my family needed, even if it meant losing the father I wished I had. Some of you listening might be in your own moment of decision. Maybe you are that 18-year-old watching your family fall apart. Maybe you are that mother wondering if your kids see more than you think. Maybe you are that father, recognizing yourself in my daddy's violence and wondering if it is too late to change. It is never too late to choose differently. It is never too late to break the cycle. But somebody has to go first. Somebody has to be brave enough to say no more. In my family, that somebody was me. In your family, it might be you. The police, the courts, the shelters, they are all important resources. But sometimes the first step toward freedom is internal. It is the decision that you deserve better. It is the recognition that love should not hurt, that family should be a place of safety, not survival. It is the understanding that protecting your peace is not selfish, it is necessary. I think about the man I might have become if that night had gone differently. If I had stayed at school, ignored Destiny's text, let Mama handle it like she always did. I would have graduated, gotten a good job, moved out, and left them behind to deal with Daddy alone. I would have been successful but haunted, accomplished but ashamed. Instead, I became someone I can look at in the mirror. Someone my sister can count on. Someone my mother can be proud of. Someone my future children can respect. I became a man not through violence, but through the courage to confront it. Daddy is getting out next year. His parole officer already reached out to make sure we still have the restraining order in place. We do. Part of me wonders what will happen when he is free, if he really changed, if prison taught him what 18 years of his family's pain could not. But that is not my problem anymore. My problem is making sure Mama knows she is worthy of love without pain. My problem is making sure Destiny grows up, knowing she never has to accept what Mama did. My problem is breaking this cycle so completely that my children will never know what it feels like to fear coming home. Some people say I saved my family that night, but the truth is we saved each other. Mama saved us by finally choosing to leave. Destiny saved us by being brave enough to record the truth. I just did what needed to be done when it needed to be done. That is what family is supposed to do. If you take anything from our story, let it be this. Violence thrives in silence, but it dies in the light. Speak up. Stand up. Get help. You do not have to fight your father in your living room like I did. There are better ways, safer ways, legal ways. But you do have to fight, one way or another, for your right to live without fear. The neighborhood still talks about that night. Some say I was wrong to hit my father. Others say I should have done it sooner. But Ms. Johnson from across the street, the one whose husband used to beat her before she left him, she told me something I will never forget. Baby, you did not just stand up for your mama. You stood up for every woman on this block who needed to see it was possible. You showed our sons that real men protect, not harm. You showed our daughters that they deserve protection. Change ripples outward like that. One act of courage inspires another. One person standing up gives others permission to stop kneeling. One voice breaking the silence makes room for others to speak. I am 21 now, about to graduate with my bachelor's degree in social work. Mama is the head CNA at the hospital, making good money, living in peace. Destiny is heading to college next year on a full academic scholarship to study theater and psychology. She says she wants to use art to help people heal from trauma. We still live in the same neighborhood, but in a different house now. Too many memories in the old one, too many ghosts in the walls. The new place is smaller but safer. No holes in the drywall. No broken angels on the floor. No footsteps that make us freeze in fear. Sometimes I drive past the old house and remember that night. Remember the boy I was, the man I became, the father I fought. I do not hate him anymore. Hate takes too much energy, and I need that energy for healing, for helping others, for building the life we deserve. They say you cannot choose your family. That is true. You cannot choose who brings you into this world, who shares your blood, who gives you their trauma along with their DNA. But you can choose who gets to stay in your life. You can choose whose voices matter. You can choose whether to repeat the cycle or break it. I chose to break it. That choice cost me my father, split my extended family, and changed my life forever. But it also gave me freedom, gave Mama peace, gave Destiny a future. It was the hardest and best decision I ever made. If you are facing a similar choice, if you are standing at your own crossroads between silence and truth, between safety and family loyalty, between who you were raised to be and who you need to become, know this. The choice that protects the vulnerable is always the right choice. The voice that speaks for those who cannot speak is always the right voice. The stand you take for others might be the stand that saves you too. Thank you for listening to my story. I know it was not easy to hear. Family violence never is. But these stories need to be told. These truths need to be spoken. These cycles need to be broken. There are more stories like mine out there. More young people finding the courage to stand up, speak out, and break free. If this story resonated with you, if you see yourself or someone you love in our struggle, I encourage you to keep listening. There are 2 more videos on your screen right now. Stories from other young men who chose their family's safety over their family's secrets. Click on whichever one calls to you. And if you want to be part of a community that understands what it means to break generational cycles, that notification bell is waiting for you. We upload new stories every day, each one a testament to the power of speaking truth, even when that truth is painful. Until next time, remember this: you are not alone in your struggle. You are not wrong for wanting better. You are not betraying your family by refusing to let them destroy themselves and you. Sometimes the most loyal thing you can do is refuse to be complicit in your family's dysfunction. Real strength is not about how hard you can hit. It is about knowing when to fight and when to walk away. It is about protecting those who cannot protect themselves. It is about being the change your family needs, even if they do not know they need it yet. My name is Deshaun Williams. I am 21 years old. 3 years ago, I stood up to my father for the first time and last time. It was the night I stopped being his son and started being my mother's protector. It was the night I stopped being a boy and became a man. Not because I threw a punch, but because I finally said enough. Your enough moment might look different from mine. It might be quieter, safer, more strategic. That is okay. There is no one right way to break free from violence. There is only your way, the way that keeps you and your loved ones as safe as possible while moving toward freedom. But whatever your way is, I hope you find it. I hope you take it. I hope you know that there is life after abuse, peace after violence, healing after trauma. It is not easy. It is not quick. But it is possible. And sometimes, possible is all the hope you need to take the first step. Stay strong. Stay safe. And remember, speaking your truth is not betrayal. It is the bravest form of love there is. Thank you for listening. Thank you for witnessing our story. And thank you for whatever step you take next in your own journey toward freedom. The cycle stops with us. It has to. Our children deserve better. We deserve better. And despite everything, maybe even the people who hurt us deserve the chance to face their truth and change. But whether they change or not, we can. We must. We will. That is what it means to break the silence. That is what it means to choose healing. That is what it means to turn your pain into purpose. And that is exactly what we are doing, one story at a time, one truth at a time, one family at a time. Until tomorrow, keep speaking your truth. Someone needs to hear it. Someone needs to know they are not alone. Someone needs to see that survival is possible, that thriving is achievable, that peace is not just a dream, but a destination we can reach if we are brave enough to start walking. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. For me, that step was catching my father's fist. For you, it might be something else entirely. But whatever it is, take it. Your future self will thank you. Your family's future generations will thank you. And somewhere, someone facing the same struggle will see your courage and find their own. This is Deshaun Williams signing off. But the story does not end here. It continues with you, with your choices, with your courage. Make them count.